should probably set up the is this running? Yeah. I should set up the desktop audio. You know, the not what are you talking about? The whole system for simply put vertical streaming. I haven't done that yet. What a slacker is. What an absolute slacker can happen, can very well be the experience. There we go. That's. Am I in the right category? Yeah, okay. What's a person? What a world, more like. What a reality. So, we have that. Something else? I have. Okay. We have everything set in place for today. Ah, amazing. There we go. Yeah. We are good to go. And also, it did work in my favor, in my as intended, basically. The whole method to keep the text in its actual shape, in its desired shape, so to speak. So, I guess, yeah, we can see what goes on in the other area, in the whole view of that when we finally also added the or when it switches automatically into the whole yeah, this is starting soon DM, you know. We will see. We shall see. We have to trust in the process until then. So that's that, and also let me mute stuff. Let me get everything set up. What a great existence, brother. What a wonderful one, actually. Yeah. Let me mute this. There we go. I feel like okay. I feel like to some degree, somehow, this is still like pretty low volume somehow. I feel like it could be higher in a way. Not that it needs to, that's not the point, but it could be higher, you know? It's like very low somehow. Can happen as part of the experience. Whatever. So yeah, give me a minute or two or so. I will be back. With a bag of chips. No, what? Don't say random stuff. Yeah, give me a second. I had to set up the YouTube chat and I didn't do that. I'm amazing. For sorry. For thank God we are here. We are still with some time. We still have some time. Yeah, that's the expression that I'm looking for. Somehow, I don't know what happened. I might have like gotten some kind of brain injury to be this bad English out of nowhere. Probably crashed my head against the pavement. No, 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 no. Don't say that. Don't say it. Say it. Say it. Say that. True. Anyways, the point is, there we are. Almost. Okay. Now it works. Amazing. I should wait. I remember. Well, no, not this microphone. I knew one of the other ones that I had at some point in history was capable of like recording, not recording, capturing the audio of me clipping my nails. That was crazy. We were like incredibly close to an ASMR experience somehow. Unavoidably, that's not the goal here, but it could very well happen. And that was, yeah, as I said, that was crazy. Also, yet again, I am way too far away from the microphone. I am amazing. Every single time I do the same thing. Good evening. There we go. A little bit better. No. No. More, okay, there we go. More like that, yeah. Good. Oh, what an existence, man. There we go. That's... What am I forgetting about? What a beautiful question. I have no clue. I have the sensation. I don't really know. I don't think I have anything. I don't think I am forgetting anything, so yeah. Let me... I came back to... What's the name? W Place? World Place? I don't know if it's actually World Place. W Place, and it's crazy to see how abandoned it is. It's not really bad in terms of, oh no, it's over. But it's crazy to think that, yeah, it is more like a reminder of what it was once, more than anything else. Not really anything else, no. And that's what I feel is sad. I would have liked if it actually got to live more. But I don't know. Something about the speed, the briefness of every single experience that we go through. It's an easy option also to choose to blame, oh no, yeah, these younger generations. What the fuck are you talking about? I am also a younger generation. It's not like, yeah, no. I don't fall under that young generation myself. What are you talking about, man? It's just that, yeah, it's weird to see that it died so fast. It could have been so much more. Yet again, that beautiful sensation. It needed to be present. How to live one day without saying, yeah, this thing could have been so much better. Anyways, I was bringing up a W Place because I opened it for a second. Sorry, I was wasting my pixels. Now for real, I am here. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess. It's gonna be complicated, but I found something. Yeah, good morning. What? Why do I have the clock muted? What happened? Why did I do that? Anyways, can happen, I guess. Part of the experience is me doing stuff without any explanation whatsoever to myself. But yeah. Good morning. I cannot scream. Now that I remember, I want to quote properly the whole Good Morning Vietnam, and I cannot do it. It's so over. Why does it capitalize good? Why does it randomly capitalize some words What's up with the subtitles now? Uh, whatever. Sorry. I got distracted. Yeah. Good morning. It has been a long time since the last time that I was here. That last time being in this case, literally yesterday. But I don't know. Time dilates and construes itself and shapes and gets reshapen, and from the eye of the beholder becomes an entirely different thing. And yeah, it feels like it has been, I don't know, I guess somehow, lastly, I can even say it like that, yeah. My days have been feeling like weeks entirely. It's crazy to see how much stuff can happen in one day. And I don't think it's bad, but it's crazy to think about it like that. And yeah, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. The point is, we are good, and it's nice to be here again. I I said on the Discord, I didn't really have anything to say. I I had an idea, not in terms of I had an idea. It's I was thinking, and I realized something that I thought was meaningful to put into words. Let's say it like that, yeah. And I feel like it's one of those few things that actually translate well enough into this kind of format. I have been actually battling a lot with that notion. There is something beautiful about realizing that in a way we have the possibility of talking about so many things here, but it's incredibly strange to do so. And I don't know. I am thinking. I am deep in thought lately. I guess that's the most important expression. But yeah, point being, I was. Do you have anything else to really say before that? I don't think so. I don't know. I I am alive. Things are going well, quote unquote, and there is at least so far there seems to be no other more important conflict in the world, I guess. So I'm happy so far with that. I don't know, in my city somebody died today for sure. Wow. Anyway, uh, do you ever stop to think about that? That people die where you live? Wow, what a crazy idea. That life is such a fleeting thing. Every single day somebody else is taken from us. And you just have to wonder, when will the day come where that certain someone is somebody who we actually knew and who we used to care about? Until that day comes, we are so willingly free, so ignorant of such a dark reality. Anyway, sorry. Ah, okay, yeah. As a as another parenthesis thing, I have been thinking about it. It's actually crazy to think that it's quite possible to say so much in that way. Of there are so many notions that one, I guess, yeah. I think most people possess ideas themselves that they are quite unwilling to look into, but it's not so hard to be capable of, so to speak, going on a rant. It's the whole notion of, yeah. I have not exactly thought out these things. I simply know that I can continuously progress on the expression of these seeds of ideas, basically something like that. But yeah, anyway, point being, actually starting now. Sorry. I, I was Today was a very slow day in a way. I have been trying to organize myself around things, and inside of the whole project of having a certain kind of organization in what one does and what not, no? I I found something weird. I found myself looking at, or yeah, throughout the day, from the very beginning of it, I didn't really find myself looking at anything. I was just going out my life until I had that tiny realization in one of the many things that I was listening to, that there was, I that's why I chose this particular title even of the sais quoi. A certain something, an unnameable quality in what I was listening to. And it wasn't at that point. I felt that today earlier, when, let's say, in the morning, and besides that point, I also had that same sensation yesterday when I was listening to something else. And throughout the continuation of my day, I didn't really stop to think about it that much. I just, I guess, had that moment of noticing that, yeah, this happened. There was this certain unnameable quality. And I, at that point, I didn't really make much of it. But after continuing with the rest of my existence today, I, I decided to take I wouldn't really say a break. I guess, yeah, it's being realistic. It's basically a break. There is a kind of information that I consume, but only as a hobby, and that kind of uh, procrastination of learning in a way in which you learn, but about something so hyper specific or so outdated that it is quite complicated for it to have any other impact on the world. It doesn't really lead to much else. Point being, while doing that, I found myself thinking that, or yeah, the content that I was consuming fell under that same category of, yeah, you know what? This person is also doing that same thing. They also have that certain quality. And I don't really know what it is. I have been thinking about it, and at a first glance, I was going to simply say, yeah, this is about passion. Yet again, today you are going to be talking about passion. I don't feel like it is passion, simply put. It's something entirely different to some degree. It's the capacity to express oneself so much more fluently and with such a vibrance in the way in which everything that comes out of the mouth of the one speaking, and the way in which all the things possess that certain animosity behind them and that certain colorfulness behind them, and how things are done not just purposefully, but more like with a higher level of freedom behind the decision of doing anything. It's not just about passion. Everybody can to some degree have a passion. I can tomorrow I can wake up, have one simple thought, and claim that it is passion, and I cannot really know if it is or not. I will assume that it is, but for me to be completely aware if what I am feeling or not falls under the category of passion, I will need to continue my whole existence for for a long time until I can finally realize and capture what this certain quote-unquote passion is. And even worse, there is this there is this aspect of passion between, I guess, where you can intersect passion and what's this other quality, this other human attribute, motivation. I need to be passionate, I need to be motivated to do stuff. The fleetingness of the passion, of the motivation of the soul, that whole aspect of that, it's not just the, yeah, I am motivated to speak. I have an interest in doing so. It's something else, and I don't really know exactly what it is. But it's the real point is, or kind of tracing back to the beginning, rather. I noticed that it was there, and I feel like it's something amazing to behold. I don't even know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of, yeah, it's this actual, I guess. If you want expressions, I am running in an incredibly hypothetical level. I haven't if I have read about this, I have already forgotten. It's something that mutates what is otherwise the passion and obsession that one feels with the more properly crafted and cherished love for something, you know? When you find somebody who actually loves what they are doing, somebody who is fully aware of how much they fully enjoy doing something. I don't just have this hobby that is a passion of mine that sometimes I like, sometimes I absolutely despise. No, I know that this is what I love doing in my whole existence, and seeing people having that is not only the whole contact of that at a, so to speak, in the moment, in the immediateness of the encounter. It is nice, it is good to have that happen, you know. It's always wonderful to simply see, yeah, you know what, I am finally in front of somebody who wants to do what they are doing. I want to, I can enjoy hearing, I can enjoy listening to what they have going on, you know. But also there is this other layer of it's, I don't know if it is contagious. I guess it has to do a lot with I can actually realize that it exists to begin with anything. I need to be willing to look out for its existence, and I need to actually try to decipher if it is present at all or not in what this person expresses. And once I can do that, I can identify far more efficiently what is actually going on in terms of yeah, the quote unquote message and such, you know. And it's something, not only that, yeah, I guess I don't think it's fair to say I like it. I would go as far as to say every single person that has that, you know, almost irradiates that wonderfulness of, yeah, you truly enjoy having that. You truly enjoy doing that. You truly, once again, you are finally in love with something. It's more than just the love for a certain someone. It's a different quality of, yeah, I can I can sense that interest that goes beyond the moment of, yeah, you just, if I get, let's express it like this, if I get triggered in a certain way, I can produce the expression for you. But in the moment in which I have to innately demonstrate my interest, in the moment in which I need to be capable of, by myself, without any other prompt that makes it come forward, be capable of showing what I am and putting in any kind of shape itself what I think about certain things. I That's where it becomes far more difficult to once again display that sensation. It's That's where I feel like somehow passion fails. It's easy to say, yeah, this thing has so much passion. It's it's easy enough to understand that I can do a passion project, so to speak, you know, but it doesn't really mean that what I am going to do is something that in itself will have that essence. But to try to go a little bit beyond that and to try to have that other love for the thing, love for the hobby, for the action, for the whatever, you know, that's where it feels far more meaningful, and that's where it, once again, I I am absolutely sure, I guess. The issue is to say, yeah, I'm absolutely sure. It's always complicated to say that, you know, yeah. I think I can always detect that when someone else expresses their love for something. It's, I guess you can say, as long as you keep on seeing it present, you can identify it with enough repetitions of that very same expression that, yeah, this person is truly in love with this kind of thing, and that it isn't, once again, the whole facade or the whole thing that I project outwards, that I say I like without really having an interest on, and that's wonderful. I feel like it's I guess I have been avoiding that. The conclusion is, or one of the many things is also, and I have been lacking thing that I don't know. It's strange to be in that place. It's good enough to have the capacity to identify it, to see somebody interested in what they are doing is a gift in and of itself. Absolutely. To see somebody serious with what they are doing is beautiful, but there is also that degree of the more I see it, the more accustomed I end up getting to it, and the more I can allow myself to forget what it truly is, what kind of energy it emanates outwards, what in which way it demonstrates itself when somebody is in love with what they are doing. And that's to some degree the desire to not have so much contact with that. But here is like, and until here, that was one point. We go, you can separate that into another part of the same concept. Because I feel like there is also something absent there. I feel like it's also hard if you haven't even tried to identify that in life, to see those who possess that quality in themselves. Do not. It's sort of insulting to say it like, yeah. Do not. To be capable of identifying when somebody isn't absolutely lost in what they are doing. But rather when you can see somebody who knows, not just yeah, this person knows what they want. Wow, such an assertivity. No, this person is capable of identifying what they truly like. The degree of, yeah, I can know that this is something that I am. Once again, it's not about passion. It's a certain different quality. And once that thing is present, once that can exist, that feels so much, I will say it feels better. I feel like, yeah, on a level, it's amazing to see that and to have the capacity to identify that. But once you go out there, it's so weird to see so few people actually having that happen. It's, I guess, the whole concept of we are good at imitating things, and to some degree, it's good. Yeah, we are good enough at imitating how that thing supposedly feels, how one should go out their life once they have these things that they have to say that they like and whatnot. But I feel like the authenticity of that expression, of the actual desire for the action itself, for the thing that is being performed and whatnot, is incredibly absent otherwise. And it's only, once again, at least in my case, it's only in the encounter with such events of that same sort that one can finally remember that, yeah, this is actually what true love. It's a random word, but you can say it as the love for the game, the love for the thing in itself, the love for being, whatever you want to put after the love for this thing that I do, whatever it is. That kind of love is, once again, reminder on the soul, let's say. More on it, I guess. A more modern conception will be the mind being capable of once again finally identifying the real pattern that is in alignment with those who are capable of performing any kind of task with the utmost care and in a way in which it shines outwardly how much they are willing and interested in doing such a thing. And I feel like it's, once again, Not only that it is absent, I guess. Yeah, let me drink some water. I want to think how to say it. Okay, I think I have it. It's something about the whole quality of when you identify, once you identify that certain something present in those who actually like what they are doing, the capacity to step aside, not from what this person who likes what they are doing is doing, but rather from the rest of the world in terms of, yeah, so I can perhaps a little bit more identify these others expressions that aren't as authentic, that aren't as actually engaged in what they try to express, that aren't truly what I am getting told they are, And once that becomes present, once that happens, it carries with itself to some degree the possibility of, I will say, yeah, the reminder of, and maybe myself too, I have, unavoidably, I have lost that in some way, or I have, part of life, I guess, is about the process of identifying how to have that happen in oneself by itself, so to speak, without the need to imitate others, the capacity, the eternal search for meaning, so to speak, the whole point of being alive to some degree. What is it that you like? What is it that you are willing to die for and what not? It's that same eternal question that every single human being has to ask themselves at some point, or that is confronted with, that same thing, that same notion. Get in here in terms of, yeah, okay. In my case, in my personal experience, what can I say that I want to try, that I am trying to go for? What is the part that I am trying to capture? And what is the aim that I am taking in order to achieve that same sensation on myself? I feel like it's the connection with that same thing. It's, I guess, yeah, the unavoidable aspect of, once I can finally see, or the more one lives, once I can remind myself what it is to actually have that love for a certain something, I can try to go back to, or I can try to create that within my own existence. And I feel like it is unavoidably weird in terms of, yeah. Otherwise, we needed to be suffering so much and we needed to have so little enjoyment about what we are and what we do and the way in which we exist and what not. And I don't want to simply let it lie in yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's upsetting, man. It's absolutely upsetting to see, yeah, you know what? Today, what I'm going to do is ruin my own fucking day because I cannot gather enough strength to try to do something beneficial for my own existence. I am already accustomed enough to having shitty days, so I will continue that same horrible line. Instead of trying to, in any other manner, capture and utilize that essence of, yeah, yeah, I myself can try to have something more meaningful for my own self. And it's strange to see it absent. It's upsetting once again. It's part of life, I guess. It's about getting to see those who have that, once again, that certain something, that certain whatever that they have, that certain passion behind what they do. And I don't know. There is, yeah, there is something else. Yeah, it's it's a lot more difficult to mention because it goes back to what I said of, and we also are very capable of imitating feelings. One of the if if we wanna see it, if yeah, okay, if you want to think about it from a more human perspective, from a more okay, what's an actual term that we can utilize to describe it? The whole concept of mirroring emotions that we can see in others. The whole aspect of yeah, I can imitate what I see in you. I can play to I can play out what I see that you go through. Not that I can actually do it in terms of I am proficiently capable of showing what you have and demonstrating what you are experiencing yourself accurately. I can do such a thing without capturing its whole essence, basically. In the act of doing that same thing, in the act of, yeah, I I believe that I know what it is to be happy with the performance of this task. In the act of imitating that, it's the whole. That's something that I don't like actually. Once you go back to, yeah, I have seen somebody who loves doing what they are doing. Once you are reminded of that, it feels. I feel quite angry when I look at anywhere else and I have to confront, yeah, this person isn't really enjoying what they are doing, you know? And it's so strange to see that. It's so absolutely upsetting to see that. So that's why I say particularly, yeah, so many people, because that's the sensation that you get out of that moment, out of that interact. No, it's not even about an interaction. It's about what this other person is capable of portraying outwardly, you know? Of, yeah, I am trying to show that I care, but I am not actually showing it, you know? I am not actually invested in what I am doing. I am trying to act like I am in any way absolutely caring for this thing. I am trying to play the role of somebody who is absolutely passionate about this thing, but I am not in itself somebody who possesses the passion, who is capable of in any way, so to speak, capturing the flame of passion in any way and utilizing it for my endeavors. I am simply somebody who has seen others do this very same thing already, and I want to play it out, but for what I am doing myself. And that's the thing that becomes upsetting because it's it's annoying to see how much so many people are capable of playing with that. And unavoidably, it can also trace back to what I mentioned. The more upsetting moment of that is seeing, yeah, and I can also do that same stupidity myself. I can fall onto the trap of, yeah, you know what, today I will tell myself that I enjoy doing this absolute piece of stupid garbage because what I want to do is upset my existence and make my day worse by trying to tell myself that I am so in love with this thing that I absolutely not care about. And that same thing is incredibly hurtful for oneself. And I don't know, I feel like unavoidably, as much as is it bad for me, it should be the very same thing for others. I don't think that, yeah, for sure, this other person who has to act like they truly care about this is in such a happy state because they have to do that same thing that when I do so, I want to rip my ass out, you know? I don't think that that's the case. And it's it's that sensation that's absolutely strange. It's that very same experience that feels weird in a way. And I don't know, I there is something else about that I don't know. I feel like in its entirety, it's a weird notion. There is so much awareness around it. There is such a weird context about yeah. I am I have found a way in which I can love doing something. And the moment in which somebody has said that, it almost becomes a necessity for the rest of the world in some way to try to tell to that person, yeah, you know what, you're absolutely wrong, and you're doing absolutely something bad, and you're wasting everything because what you are pursuing is not something that you should love, or that the whole part of, for example, learning about psychology. No, yeah, you think that you love something, but in reality, you don't really love that. You're only telling yourself that you love that. The whole act of self-deception and whatnot, and trying to convince the person who, once again, possesses the authentic desire, the authentic love for a certain thing, that they are actually wrong about what they love, and they are yet again another one who has diluted themselves into believing that they have somehow found what everyone else has not been capable of. The desire, I guess, to equalize the playing field and say to those who might be getting a little bit happier that, yeah, you know what, no, you're actually living out a lie, and you're actually doing something wrong, and you're actually hurting yourself, because in reality there is this other unintended aspect of yourself. That whole way of, I guess, therapy speech at this point in the current discourse, in the way in which we talk with others and such, and what's, yeah, I already used the term, the whole introduction of therapy speech into the more normal aspects of communication and the mainstream dialect, so to speak. That's where we also started to make it look like, yeah, that certain something, that certain way of having passion for something, it's impossible to have. And if you believe that you have it, you are crazy. And if you cannot realize that you are crazy, you might as well deserve to die. Wow, what a hopeful world to live in. What a beautiful world to live in. What a nice world to live in. What an interesting place to be alive in. The whole aspect of, yeah, you know what? Nobody but, no, it's not even nobody but me. Nobody ever has the capacity to be satisfied about what they see. And nobody is in any capacity capable of ever expressing that. That's what I feel becomes the issue. That's what I feel like becomes the problem even more. The whole aspect of, yeah, you know what? You think that you like something, but you're actually wrong. You don't like anything. You don't have any actual passion for anything. And it's something that I have started to disdain, I guess, to some degree. Unavoidably, it's not something that you start to disdain, it's something that you just, the moment in which you realize it exists as a certain thing, so to speak. The whole, we have such a war for the, or towards the happiness of human beings, while on the contrary, we also have all of these other imposed things that make it so that when you believe that you have reached it, you are now told that you are actually absolutely wrong, and that you are only making things even worse for yourself because you don't have a passion for anything. You're actually following a lie, and you're actually following something that is untrue, and you're actually doing something wrong and whatever. And that way of interacting with things, that way of going about the whole aspect of what you wanted to pursue is absolutely strange, I feel like. And it's okay. I note that what I am doing isn't really specific. I'm trying to think about it without feeling way too aggressive in the idea itself. There is this whole aspect of, I remember, for example, one of the many encounters with that same notion of, yeah, somebody who actually loves what they are doing. And the necessity, the example is, there was this group of people who were very good at doing this kind of, in the very early days, it's for anybody who is interested, I guess, in internet culture, it's not that weird of a story, but a quick rundown is there in the early days there was when internet was a much more bearable system and everything was far more rudimentary. There was a group of people who had a lot more interest and wanted simply to explore, to understand how things work, the whole aspect of, I guess, the childlike wonder of trying to make sense out of how things work, simply. It's new technologies and people wanting to simply see how they came to be and how they could perhaps be upgraded in any form. And one of the most wonderful creations that came because people like that existed was the necessity to make anyone who expressed this passion and who made it clear that they were participating in the effort of simply exploring, simply utilizing that very same technology for what it was created, for the sake of seeing to which limits it could be pushed, getting punished, and okay, punished. What the fuck does punished mean? Okay, getting incarcerated, people getting absolutely the proper concept of censorship, the proper concept of, yeah, this person is getting told that what they love, what they found, that they had an interest, what they found that they perhaps were good at, is no more something that they should perform. It's incredibly annoying to think about that aspect of, yeah, you think that you know what you like, and perhaps you are, if we cannot convince you that you are wrong, perhaps what we can do is enforce you to abandon what you saw was interesting. It's incredibly annoying to think that somehow the aspect of finding something to absolutely fall in love with in life has so many layers of, yeah, you know what? You chose the wrong thing. Now you go to sale. Now you are separated from the rest of society because you are insane for liking this thing. Oh, no, really, I guess before it gets brought up, yeah, no, there is this whole aspect of, there are these certain things that we as human beings are capable of understanding that are hard to like, I don't know, any kind of meat, whatever, in terms of, yeah, the concept of you shall not kill other people, you shall not, I don't know, marry into your own bloodline and whatnot. We assume that those are already given, and I don't know, part of growing up and understanding moral systems and whatnot. Besides that basic notion, once the human being, let's articulate it this way, once the person is capable of growing up, realizing what they might have a passion for, what they might want to do with themselves, and understand the world in which they live, even after having done all of those things, the act itself of identifying and pursuing any kind of goal that they set for themselves and any kind of thing that they have already started to see as an interest of them carries with it such a heavy weight in terms of, perhaps you are doing so many other wrong things, or perhaps you are being such a danger to the rest of this world that even when you are on the right path, in the right track, you have way too many doubts inserted onto you, and you have way too many negative aspects flooding what is the experience, the final experience that you end up having. And that's what I feel like is incredibly upsetting also. I don't know. Let me calm down for a second, yeah, before I actually start screaming, I guess. But I don't know, man. I guess what's the expression? The society of comfort is the whole aspect of it's fine for you to just have that far more basic layers of it's not real satisfaction. You know what? It's I hate to know that. I hate to be capable of identifying it's not passion, it's not any kind of real satisfaction. It's a mere placebo effect of you know what? I like so much eating, I like so much watching absolute garbage on TV, listening to so much nothing. It's nothing, and it weighs nothing at all, and it carries no importance with it. But it's better to live in the lie based on what the system tries to say in many cases. It's better to do that than to risk, wow, living your own life and finding out what might be actually something that finally makes you move, mobilizes internally what you have, you know? I said I was going to calm down. It didn't happen at all. I am so happy about that. Let me take another second because I didn't calm down. What a world, man! What a world! I don't know. Yes, the real point lies somewhere in within. It's still, I would pretty much say, it's possible. I am absolutely sure it's possible to actually find something that works, and be capable of utilizing it, pursuing it, and making sure that it serves any kind of purpose whatsoever. It actually can happen. The issue is realizing that it does. And I guess, I don't know, it's annoying. The notion of, yeah, you need to keep it secret. That's part of why it's so necessary to never talk about what you truly like, what you are working on, what you truly are going for, what is the goal in your life. You don't talk about that. Why? Because on the other hand, the moment in which you do, the moment in which you express your interest, the moment in which you show what your soul has set its sights on, it is the moment in which you get squashed by this world. So it becomes necessary then to once again go back into silence, and it becomes necessary to yeah, we have passions, but we don't talk about them. Nobody here is allowed to truly talk, to truly share what they like, to truly demonstrate that they have something that fuels their existence in any meaningful, substantial way, you know? It's but it's the solution, but it's upsetting that it works that way. That we don't have something else that actually lets us simply be, that we don't have something that lets us experience life with that flavorfulness, you know, that everything has to be only through the method of yeah, you do your own thing silently, you have to seclude, you have to remain in your own lane, and at the best, you might have the possibility of sharing instances with others, of sharing some moments, some brief seconds with others, but you never get to actually have an encounter with somebody who truly cares, with somebody who truly is capable of hearing what you like. You cannot express what is that thing that moves you, you know? There is no moment of, yeah, we were having that happiness. That's why it's also so hard. In some way, you could say it's so hard to actually observe that in many cases, because it sadly relies on, yeah, this person is never capable of actually expressing to me what they like. Nobody can be absolutely honest about what they enjoy, even if it is completely fine, even if there is going to be no punishment whatsoever coming from anywhere. There is going to be something that tells this person on the back of their mind that they have no right whatsoever to express what they have found and what they can say that they love. So I have to make out by myself what it is, and that's why it's a certain unnamed quality and an identified attribute existent only on a handful of people, because to be capable of actually knowing what it is would mean to once again put at risk the very thing that makes it exist at all. It's so wonderful to live in this world with that whole weight. I don't know. The point is to be freed from that, perhaps. I guess unavoidably the whole reality, I guess, collapses onto the whole notion of I can try to live my life knowing that I will have to live in silence. I can try to do that. But am I actually willing to do that? I don't know if I want to try to do that. I don't know if I want to sacrifice myself so much. If I want to live. So even if you're surrounded by people, you have to live censoring yourself, because it becomes a dangerous thing to have that expression of true love. What? I feel like at that point it can absolutely change into, yeah, perhaps it's something a little bit different, something a little bit more about, I could try to find a way to have it exist out there also. I don't need to die without letting anyone else know what made my heart beat every single day. It's upsetting that the norm currently is for everyone to be silent about that, but I think that it's more valuable to say that actually there might be a way to make it work than to simply settle down with, yeah, you know what, I have to silence myself. Being honest, that's the more nihilistic approach that you can take to it, yeah, there is no way in which I can let people know. There is no way in which anyone will understand me whatsoever. Everyone will always treat me as if I am crazy. No. You know what is beautiful? Once again, encapsulated in what I described before, the moment in which you can see, you can actually have a contact with the love that somebody feels for something, for whatever it is, and the moment in which you can finally identify it as an authentic one. It is the moment in which the whole action, the whole conversation, the whole aspect of that one dialogue becomes entirely different. It changes its shape because you know that you aren't being lied to, because you aren't being sold that story of, yeah, I'm so passionate about this thing, I want so much to do this thing. You don't care about that. You don't give a single fuck about what you're trying to tell me that you do. The moment in which that disappears, the moment in which the person is capable of finally showing some semblance of love for what they have, the moment in which, let's say, it seeps through the cracks, it finally leaks onto reality, what they were trying to keep contained within themselves, the moment in which you can go a step further and say the unconscious makes its way through the many barriers that the person tries to put forward to not make it apparent that they are absolutely in love with that certain something. It makes it happen, and it can make the whole conversation more fluid in a way in which it can exist without hurting anyone so much and without being such a dangerous thing, you know? But the issue is, it also relies a lot on, is this person being honest with me or am I being lied to? And it's wonderful to have that very same bird chirping in your ear every single second, that any kind of interaction of that very same sort exists. Because there is nothing more wonderful than to be absolutely doubtful about every single piece of thing that you think about, every single interaction that you have, to be absolutely vigilant about everything. The point is that, yeah, I feel like unavoidably there is a chance to have it exist in a way in which it can actually work in any direction. It doesn't even matter in which one. The issue is to actually understand how to make it work. But I don't think the real solution is not to simply say, yeah, you know what? Today I give up. Today I am not anymore going to try to let the rest of the world know what I want there. That's still way too negative. That's, once again, in this self-centered society in which the norm has become to be everyone by themselves, I don't think that's the solution. Once again, it has the aspect of, I can make it work when I come in contact with others, relies heavily on having enough patience to do so slowly enough to make it actually happen, you know? Because the issue is, how can I let others know that I like that? I always think about that, actually. The whole concept of, how can I demonstrate that I like this thing without hurting anyone else? The aspect of, I don't know if what I am saying is actually good because I am showing how happy I am, or it has actually become boastful from me to say that I love this thing, while others possess nothing, not even remotely close in terms of passion. Once those kind of gaps are more closed, once, or yeah, as long as the person tries to work on those things, I feel like it's actually something solvable in some way, something that can actually reach a good end. But I guess it's more about, yeah, what I said before. The encounter with all of those other negatives makes it incredibly hard to actually say, yeah, you know what, I like these things and I want to keep doing them myself. It's so difficult to have that. It's so complicated to be honest in terms of, yeah, I am so happy about this. It's, to stay hopeful is complicated. Even more when things are this uncertain, when we don't even have a proper word for what it is. It's not, once again, it's not passion. I wish it was passion, but passion is fleeting. Passion dies tomorrow, the same way it appeared today, you know? It's something else, it's something that is everlasting, it's something that makes me continue no matter how many times I have done this, and can impregnate others of that very same energy that can irradiate outwardly, you know? And it's difficult to talk about such things. It's, I don't know, I was thinking about that very word of the romanticization of life, you know? It's absolutely absent in so many aspects, and yet we are trying to talk out the very essence of, yeah, now you have to admit, you have to find what you love, and be capable of admitting to yourself that you do so and continue with that for the rest of your existence. That's it. In which world that is normal? In the one in which we are told that we needed to do absolutely upsetting things for the sake of goals that we don't even understand if we actually want or not? In the world in which it's necessary to work for years on end on things that you are going to be upset the moment in which you get to your house, the moment in which your life, the world in which your life has to become your existence being at the service of some entity which doesn't even possess a real embodiment and which doesn't have any actual impact of meaningfulness in the world. In that very same world, you're trying to ask people to be honest about what they love. You're trying to ask that same worker to be capable of saying, yeah, okay, Mr. Blue Collar Man, what do you love actually? You're trying to ask to that person to step aside from that and find that thing that they like? It's kinda hard to do that. It's kinda absolutely fucking hard to do that. But I think the point is that even if it is hard, it's possible to do it. I feel like there is this whole trend that we keep hearing about, and we even more have to live with. We have to live with knowing that it is in the back of our minds. That very same for us a reminder of older generations get to live their life far more freely. Those who have gotten the possibility of retiring are those who can finally dedicate themselves to what they like, and are the ones who can finally do something that they might enjoy, and are the ones who might finally live out the goals that they wanted to pursue. And not that it is an issue, but certainly it is hard to actually live knowing that, I will have to not have my love exist in my life until I reach 60 or 70. It's part of living to have to rely so much on a future that might as well not come. Really, that's kinda difficult actually. But I don't know, I guess I don't really know. The real point was that, that the observation of that very same certain something or uncertain something brought me here today. It's wonderful to see that. It's one of the most beautiful things to behold, I would say, even. I liked that, and it's sad to forget what it feels like, but it also is upsetting to remember what it is in its very essence, because in the end, you're once again reminded that, this feels this way, and perhaps I am not doing anything at all to have it exist on my case. Perhaps I am avoiding even trying to have anything of that very same sort be present in my own life. You know how upsetting it is to have to remember that, I am doing all of these other meaningless things. I am doing so much of so absolutely upsetting parts of my own life. I have yet again put the stick in my own wheel. Yet again I am in that very same place. But I guess the real point lies in, the very least, there is the capacity for the recognition of that, and not the necessity to simply remember that one is, today you are doing wrong, but rather, maybe you were, maybe it's time to finally do something that makes it change. But there is also, The issue is also in this world, it's hard to finally come in contact with that, because it's difficult to see. It's difficult to want to see anyone going through that. Once you remember that, yeah, the real message is, you shouldn't try that. You shouldn't even give it a try at all. You should not, for any reason whatsoever, waste your existence on pursuing that very same thing and trying to make it happen and trying to be in contact with somebody who has any kind of passion for themselves. It's dangerous to be around people who are so dedicated to anything. It's absolutely hurtful for you to be close to somebody who is so interested in so well, so centered in reaching something, in doing something, so focused. It's bad to have that, and it's tiresome. In the end, all of that is absolutely tiresome. But I don't know. Let me drink some water. After that, I will see. The real point is live life, man. Live life. There is nothing better than to live life, actually. It's just yet another reaffirmation that, yeah, in the end, this was about living my own life and not just being that very same passenger who had to see others succeed. Or it's not even about success, that's the most beautiful thing about this. That some people maybe never even reached success, but understood what was the thing that they liked and were capable of doing that simple enough to keep themselves afloat throughout existence. It's not about today we shall buy into the capitalist dream of, oh yeah, pursue your passion and make it be the best paying out thing ever. No, it's so difficult to sometimes understand the things in a way in which they actually work for oneself, But I don't know, man. Life is difficult. At the very least, we have the capacity to think out things and be capable of seeing that in the end, there were solutions for these problems that I saw before. There were ways to work around these sensations. I could actually love something. It wasn't all that bad. The issue is what? Yeah. Wonderful question. But that you answer yourself, I guess. Yeah, I don't have much more to say. It was very short, but I am satisfied. Thank you. Thank you for everything. It was a very good stream. Very brief, I guess, but it was at also. Thank you. Have a good day, I guess. I don't know. Try to find that, and if you have found that, try to actually go for it, man. Try to actually have it be part of you. And everything else too, Thank you. Thank you for the attention, for the time, for everything. Have a good one.